This limb was grafted on.
Russell
That
Martin
limb was
of Olive
grafted
Branch
on.
loves
This and
trees.
this.
So much so that he and his business partner, McNeil McDonald, started a tree nursery. Only not with your typical type of trees. They grow bonsai trees.
Bonsai technically means tree in a pot, but it's really trees that have small leaves or short needles, and you create the look of a bonsai through trimming techniques, wiring. Some of them are slower growers or dwarfs, but as a rule of thumb, you really create a bonsai. So it takes some technique and some understanding of plants, but a lot of it's selection. Like this Hinoki cypress has a nice compact foliage, short needles, and it's got a nice color, plus it grows relatively slow. So you create a bonsai in a container, and it gets character over time as it ages.
Trimming and training is what gives the trees their unique look.
You train the branches, and the roots are in a nice container that's selected according to the tree's size and shape. But it'll grow, so you keep them healthy. You want them growing, so they're not really stunted or deprived of nutrition or anything in the pot. And so you trim the new growth as it comes out. So you get twigging and you create branching by trimming, so it's a refinement. It's part of the refinement technique to get them to look old and cool.
One of the ways that Martin likes to grow bonsai trees is in groupings called forests.
These are dwarf hinokis. There's several varieties of dwarf hinoki that make good trees. This happens to be a super dwarf version called Seca, and you know, they look interesting perched up on this ledge right here. So we've there again put anchors that will hold them to the rock, and then this is a soil. We build up kind of a clay dam around the edge and fill it with soil. So they're in a fair amount of soil and they're healthy. And then we put these nice little dwarf azaleas around here as kind of accent plants. So this is pretty dramatic as far as, you know, being a bonsai, but it just shows you all the different styles and creativity you can put into a bonsai planting. These probably are 10-year-old trees, 10 or 12. These are probably 5 or 6. But placing them in a group like this, it kind of gives you an interesting, and you can see I've got a wire on a few branches here. And these need lightly trimming. This is a good example of how they grow out over a couple of month period. So this needs a little refinement.
But one of the most popular plants are the green mound junipers.
See, here's typical Karate Kid kind of. This is probably our biggest selling plant, or that or the azaleas, but it's called green mound junipers because it grows naturally flat on the ground. And when you grow it up a stake by, you know, just turning it up and letting it naturally puts all this trunk curvature. So it makes it pretty easy. So that's what I'd call the most common and easy to grow outdoor tree. Has the bonsai look, evergreen, compact foliage, nice, easy to maintain. That's the only thing you got to watch out for these is red spider.
Brussels Bonsai Nursery is by far the largest bonsai nursery in the country. They sell over 250,000 trees annually. And during the 8-day period around Mother's Day alone, they sell in excess of 50,000. They can ship anywhere in the world and package everything carefully so the tree arrives in perfect condition.
The bulk of what we ship are probably, I'd say, 1 foot to 2 feet tall. And those we have, over the years, developed packing techniques that, you know, you want to get it to them in perfect condition. So that's the real important thing. A lot of times if it's a bigger tree or an irregular shaped tree, styrofoam peanuts, we fill a box. Some of them the smaller trees have a collar that go down around them and lock them in, and, you know, then a sleeve that goes over that for presentation. So we've kind of perfected transportation and getting them to people.
So support a Mississippi agribusiness by visiting Brussels Bonsai in Olive Branch or on the web at brusselsbonsai.com.